We have somebody new joining us for Future Club today, kids. Please say hello to Cairo. Both Harper and Miles did so in a friendly way, while Ivy muttered. The three children made space for Cairo without him having to ask, and he quietly sat down cross-legged. Anna joined them and set a small felt bag in front of each child. Today, we're going to be learning astragalomancy. It's a form of divination that uses dice marked with the letters or numbers, but originally, the dice were small bones. Ivy perked up. Oh, really? That's cool. Anna smiled at her. Why don't you open your bags? The four children opened their bags and poured the clicking, clacking contents into their hands or onto the floor. Each of them had a similar assortment of knuckle bones, with gold inlaid numbers carved into the various sides. Cairo held them up to inspect them, one by one, while Ivy clutched them in both hands and was shifting them around with her thumbs, grinning the entire time. They went through the basics under Anna's guidance, and were ready to make their first predictions. Ivy threw her bones, and the verdict was that some great decision held bad consequences, while Harper suggested a mass failing of sorts that Anna assumed would be crops or drought, and Miles's were ambiguous, with a giving and a taking. Cairo's bones, however, were more specific, and referenced the onset of conflict as soon as tomorrow, though they didn't suggest where or who would be involved. By design, the children had little exposure to outside sources, such as TV or radio news, and were invited to watch state-funded animated cartoons like Dawson and Fortune instead. As such, the only way they knew if their predictions were accurate was if Anna told them, which, in Cairo's case, she did the next day. As was in character, he said nothing, but smiled and even bounced a little. Miles put up his hand to ask, "So, didn't the rest of us get anything right?" "I'm sorry, Miles," Anna said. "Your predictions were too vague to tell, but maybe you'll do better today." She then handed each of them a small mirror. "What was the conflict?" Harper asked. "The one that Cairo predicted." "War broke out elsewhere in the world, Harper," Anna replied, not looking at her, but filling a small bowl with water in the middle of the circle. "Where?" Ivy blurted. The question was clearly meant for Anna, but Ivy was glaring at Cairo, who was watching the water, unaware. "Nowhere you'll know, Ivy. Now, today's lesson is on catoptromancy." They'd been having a science lesson, learning about food chains, when, on snack break, Ivy confronted Cairo. He was looking out of the windows at the sun lamps and facsimiles of nature painted on the inside of the habitation dome when she grabbed him. "How have you been getting everything so right?" Cairo didn't say anything. He'd held up his hands and was rapidly shaking his head back and forth. "Don't give me that look," she said. "I know you know. The war, the rebellion, that police lady running some country. You've been getting it right every day, and I haven't gotten it once." Even with his body tensed in fear, Cairo managed to shrug. "Ivy!" Anna's voice cut in from the other side of the classroom. "What are you doing?" She reflexively let go of Cairo's shirt. "Nothing, Miss Anna." "I've got my eye on you, Ivy. Now everyone please retake your seats." It had been a week since Cairo's introduction to the class. Then, one day, he wasn't present. When it came time for Future Club at the end of the day, Miles put his hand up and asked, "Where's Cairo?" Anna was laying out a deck of playing cards in front of each child. To her credit, she only hesitated for a second, where she glanced at the classroom helper at the back. "Cairo isn't going to be joining us anymore." "Why not?" "He's been moved to a different school, Ivy." "Will he come back?" Harper asked. Anna smiled, placed a stacked deck in front of the child, and said, "I doubt it, Harper. I doubt it."